Hello, Sunil. Unmute yourself.
Dharam sir, my voice is clear?
Yeah, it's clear. I was just calling you because you had not joined. All the best to you, sir. Great.
Thank you, sir.
We are 122 already in before time.
And many will be joining through the YouTube link also, no?
Yeah, of course. So 5 o'clock ho gaya. Should I?
Yeah, they were supposed to start the music, the intro. Yeah.
Yeah. So should we admit everybody?
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll start.
Yeah.
I think he's there, no?
Dharam sir, you can start, please.
Yeah.
Pratik can bring 3 of us on.
Yes, sir. I'm here. There is too much of noise behind me. Sorry.
Let's start.
No, it is like
yes, sir.
Apna 6.
Pratik?
According to me.
Yes, sir. You may start, sir, please.
Yeah, very good. Good evening, everyone. आप बड़े बेसब्री से इंतजार कर रहे होंगे ये प्रोग्राम का because today is a very, very special program. I am personally looking forward to today's program for a long time. And just about a year ago, the markets had crashed and equity market was down nearly 30%. Besides the markets being down, we were hit by the pandemic, by the lockdown, and it all appeared very normal to us that yes, this is the scenario and markets are going to be down because industry had stopped, cities had stopped, the world had stopped. While we continue to believe that the market would behave in a particular way, but as the year unfolded, beating all expectations, all rules, all regulations. You all can hear me, Sunil?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
Yeah. So beating all expectations, all the formula, regulation, rules, whatever we hold in our mind about markets, the way they should behave, against all that, markets suddenly have rallied, and today they have crossed above 50,000. And many of us are suffering from what we call as FOMO, fear of having missed out something. And this is the time again greed sets in, and again wrong decisions can happen. And our job is to be educated and to follow leaders who can give us some guidance. And in keeping with that, today we have perhaps one of the best possible persons who can guide us on equity. He is none other than Mr. Raamdeo Agrawal, who is the co-founder of Motilal Oswal Group. And we are indeed extremely fortunate to have him guide us. And he is equity as far as I'm concerned, as far as most of us are concerned, not only in India, he's a global, he's a thought leader globally, but not just in India. So, and in conversation with him, we will have none other than our own MisterBond in his segment called Khaas Baat, which has now become a very, very popular segment. And I wouldn't want to be in between all of you and this session. And without much ado, let me invite Sunil, Mr. Bond, to take on matters from here. And I will be happy to be on the other side as an audience to learn and to understand so that I can take good decisions going forward. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming here. And over to you, Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Dharamji. Welcome, Raamdeo. I think he was just setting up his video and the audio. If Pratik, if you can just patch him up also. So दोस्तों आज जो है बहुत ही स्पेशल दिन है. Good evening, Raamdeo ji.
Very good evening.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to join on Khaas Baat. This is a segment which we have started. We have had eminent personalities from different walks of life, including Abhinav Bindra, who's just an Olympic gold medalist. So हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं रामदेव जी to invite people from different walks so that the talks also become interesting. It's not only and always investment fundas, but today is definitely going to be investment fundas where we need your guidance and the audience needs your guidance. Because आजकल जो हो रहा है in terms of the market euphoria जो हो रहा है, so this is the biggest rally according to me, Ramdev ji, from 2009 onwards in the US in terms of the bull market rally. और ये एक यूफोरिक प्रोपोर्शन एक हो रहा है. सो इज दिस गेटिंग इनटू अ बबल जोन इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट मार्च 2020 करेक्शन जो थोड़ा सा ब्लिप हो गया था, उसके बाद तो देयर इज नो स्टॉपिंग और लुकिंग बैक आइदर इन द इंडियन इक्विटी मार्केट्स और इंक्लूडिंग द ग्लोबल इक्विटी मार्केट्स आल्सो. सो सर, योर थॉट्स whether this is a bubble situation, should the investors be a little cautious at these levels, or should we be all in?
Yeah, so good evening, friends. It's a pleasure to talk to all of you. And you see, equity investing is, as far as I'll tell you my perspective, because giving gyan about what you should do, ये मतलब बहुत difficult बात है. मतलब there are 1,000 ways of doing it, and there is always somebody successful and kind of thing. What I do is I don't time the market.
Correct.
Whether it is bubble or bust, I never bother about it. I'm 100% in the market. Because when I started in 1979, Sensex was 100. Today it is 50,000 plus. So I have seen in my front, right in front of me, 500x growth in the stock market. This is index only. And if you have done 4-5% higher, then it is almost 1,000 times. So what I'm saying is, this is a perennial bull market. As Buffett says, don't bet against America. I would say don't bet against Sensex, or don't bet against the Indian markets. So we make money. Of course, there are some challenging times, for 6 months, 1 year, in 2008, 2000, 92, right now, 12 months back. So there are always some trying times. But on the whole, it is good to be in the market, fully invested as much as your appetite is. And then within that, you try to optimize in terms of what you have. That's how I go about it.
Sir, Raamdeo ji, sir, there's only one Raamdeo ji who can have the guts to be in the markets throughout these ups and downs of the market.
Yeah.
But invested emotions of greed and fear. जब ये fear catch कर लेता है emotions of investors, तभी they take irrational decisions. So that's the reason why this question is being asked to you. In the short term, do you see volatility with this kind of polarized markets? अभी जो हो रहा है वो एक तो polarized market हो रही है. Some of the 10-15 stocks of Nifty, some of the stocks, the FANG stocks in the US, etc., they are only driving the markets to newer heights. So एक तो ये polarization है, दूसरा है एक short term volatility which the investors are not able to fathom. I know your instructions to your accountant is जब मेरे account में पैसा आया तो invest होना चाहिए उसी दिन में. But sir, not, as I said, not everybody can have that discipline to start with and cannot have that stomach to digest that volatility. So short term view आपका सर क्या है?
See, I'll tell you an example. Day before, I was actually in Mauritius, Maldives, 3 days back, and 7 ace traders of the stock market. I mean, I was the investor, and 6 were the day traders or guys who will do trades in F&O and everything. They will time their job is to time the market.
Right.
Okay. The day on which, this is the day on which I think market had fallen by some 300-400 points or something, some crazy Friday or something.
2000 points. Yes.
Yeah, 2000 points. On that night, we were trying to figure out next day क्या होने वाला है.
Correct.
Okay. All of them, I said market will go down by 400 points. Somebody said 300 points. And one Sadarji who doesn't know anything about the stock market, he said 150 points. So 100 rupees का bet था, who won it? Sadarji won the bet. Okay. So the point is, nobody knows what is going to happen. I mean, we are talking about 12 o'clock in the night and market was to open in the next 6 hours, 7 hours.
Right.
So what I'm saying is the nature of the markets are such that it is very difficult to make any prediction, and particularly if it is of the short term. meaningful. See, speculating on a particular stock, इसमें क्या लगता है, उसमें क्या, that is a different issue. You are speculating. But as an investor, really trying to get what is going to happen tomorrow, day after, it is actually impossible for me. And I don't know of anybody who gets it right every time.
Correct.
So it is a lot of effort. I mean, I understand it is of some consequence to the people who want to enter the market or exit the market, whatever. But it is something which is not doable, you know, something which is important but not knowable. That is the realm in which there are certain things which are knowable, certain things which are not knowable, certain things which are important, certain things which are unimportant. This is important but not knowable. That is the category in which I'll put it.
Correct. So, sir, ये जो disconnect है, economies across the globe which are wounded economies right now, and you will also agree to that, sir. That economies are wounded and we still don't know second wave, third wave, etc. क्या होने वाला है, और economies वापस will they be at a standstill again once more or not? Having said that, इतना disconnect है कि markets, when people were expecting that economies जो बंद हो गई थी, worldwide travel बंद हो गया है, अभी भी खुला नहीं है. So where is that disconnect between the economy and the stock market, sir?
Yeah. So जितनी मेरे को समझ है मैं आपको बताने की कोशिश करूंगा. इसमें क्या है कि देखिए, this is unprecedented time. जो प्रॉब्लम है, that is not a business cycle problem. जो disruption हुआ है, वो disruption हुआ है health care crisis के कारण से. There's something which is very artificial. This particular COVID thing has happened, and that has brought to stand still the entire world economy, which was roaring actually. Now, in that situation, going by the past experience, the monetary policies all over the world is extremely lax. They are printing money like they've never done it. I mean, you're talking about $8 to $10 trillion being printed in as many months.
Absolutely.
And this is the only number we are talking about, only US. Almost same amount of money is being printed in Europe, Japan, China, or छोटे मोटे country में कितना हो रहा कुछ मालूम ही नहीं. So I think it is unprecedented liquidity all over the world. And that too, there is no inflation because there is no demand. Because everybody is sitting at home. Most of the things are not being consumed. So there is actually demand collapse. And so there is no inflation. And the interest rates all over the world is literally at 0 or 1% or something like that. अभी 0 interest rate, 1% interest rates में आप यदि कोई चीज का valuation करना चाहेंगे equities का, vis-a-vis bond. I mean, bond is collapsed. Bond has become useless stuff. I mean, 1%, 2% for 10, 20 years, 30 years. क्या
So
bond
negative also in many countries.
Also. So basically, bond has become useless. Now, bulk of the money either is invested in bond or equity. That's how you build a portfolio of fixed income and equity. So bond basically is a fixed income, capital assured, you know, 5-6%, 7% ऐसा मिलता था. That is how you keep 50%. And on 50%, you used to take the risk and earn 2 times that of bond. Basically 10-12%. That used to be the game. Now इधर तो बन ही रहा है. Bond में कुछ बनता ही नहीं है. Equity में आपको खेलने का तो पूरा दुनिया का अगर नजर जो है equity के ऊपर आ गया. अब वो now the equity markets have become 2 times of GDP. US market cap to GDP is more than 2 times and climbing. 21 trillion is the GDP and market cap is 43, 44 and going very strong. So now the financial markets have become, for the first time, seriously, financial markets have become much bigger than the real economy.
So and that is my next question. Yes, continue, please.
Yeah, so financial markets are run by a few million people, 1 million or 2 million, all over the world put together. Whereas the real economy is run by all 7 billion people. So you can imagine people like you and me who are part of this, you know, financial markets. We are being rewarded disproportionately. We don't deserve to get this much of reward, what we have been getting.
That is exactly my next question, रामदेव जी, कि ये जो नए इन्वेस्टर्स जो आए हैं, रॉबिनहुड इन्वेस्टर्स बोलिए या जो डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टर्स आ रहे हैं इनटू द स्टॉक मार्केट्स फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, उन्होंने कभी भी बिजनेस साइकिल्स नहीं देखी है, मार्केट साइकिल्स नहीं देखी है. उनको तो लगता है कि बिकॉज द सेंट्रल बैंक्स अक्रॉस द ग्लोब आर प्रिंटिंग मनी, मार्केट्स कैन नेवर करेक्ट. उनके लिए आपकी क्या सलाह है? बिकॉज दे हैव पुट असाइड ऑल द फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ द मार्केट जो हमको ट्रेडिशनली बोला जाता था, प्राइस टू अर्निंग, प्राइस टू बुक, मार्केट कैप टू जीडीपी, जो आपने अभी बोला यूएस इकोनॉमी में जो 2 टाइम्स हो गया है, और वॉरेन बफे जो आपके भी गुरु है और सबके गुरु है, वो तो बोलते थे 135 एंड अबव इज लाइक एब्सोल्युटली यूफोरिक जोन एंड विच इज अ वेरी वेरी बैड सिचुएशन. सो एंड ऑन द अदर साइड थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट रेट जो ऊपर चला गया ऑन फ्राइडे, एंड यू सॉ द कोलैप्स ऑफ द मार्केट्स, ग्लोबल मार्केट्स एज वेल एज द इंडियन मार्केट्स व्हेन एफआईआई इज पुल्ड आउट. तभी एफआईआई ने जब पुल आउट शुरू कर दिया था ऑन फ्राइडे, जब 2000 पॉइंट्स का करेक्शन आया था, was only on one news, and that news was that interest rates are going up.
So what's your question?
So the question is, sir, ये जो नए the first time investors है, उनके लिए आपके कोई guidance है, उनकी कोई सलाह है, where they are thinking that only because the global central banks are printing money, markets can never correct.
No, market will correct. There is always a gravity, and there should be, I mean, so long as they're not excessively trading or they're not speculating. See, if you have ₹1,00,000, you buy stocks worth ₹1,00,000. Even if from the top market falls by 50% and your 1,00,000 becomes 50,000, that is very small tuition fee to pay. But if by chance you buy leverage position in speculation 1:5, 1:10 or something like that, and the market falls by, one thing I guarantee you, whenever market will finally call it quits or market trend changes, in 5 days market will be down by 40-50%. You will not get time to get out, I can tell you this.
Because a lot of leverage money is coming into the market.
Yeah, triple 3x 4x, kind of ETFs are there. So
exactly,
the avalanche of selling will be so total that once that unanimity of the view is there that now show is over, everybody would like to get out on one single moment.
Correct, sir.
Thanks to our iPhone, everybody will come to know simultaneously all over the world, and hence everybody would like to make an exit at that price on that evening itself, and hence there will be total commotion. So you must only have as much where at least 50-60% drop also, it doesn't call you bankrupt.
Correct.
तो आपने ₹1,00,000 लेके आए हो, ₹1,00,000 का शेयर खरीदो, ₹500 वाला शेयर ₹250 हो जाएगा, ₹200 हो जाएगा, you are still fine, because before that your money would have doubled or tripled. See, the fun of collapse is something never collapses unless it has expanded.
Right.
आपका देखिए, मैंने तो 4 बुल रन देखा है, मेजर 4 बुल रन, 92, 2000, 2007 and 2019-20.
Correct.
So क्या होता है, 4, 5, 6 साल तक मार्केट पागल की तरह एक्सपांड होता है, and then it corrects in 6 months.
Right.
And that correction is about 50-60%. Okay.
So are you expecting that kind of a correction, and that's what these new investors should be aware of, that ऐसा भी हो सकता है?
No, they should be aware of the history of the markets, which they don't know actually.
Exactly, that is what my question is, sir.
So they can learn from listening to people like us who have seen it, too many of them, because this is nature of the market. It expands 5-6x and then corrects half of it. So and when the correction happens, and if you're leveraged, you get completely cleaned out. But if you're not leveraged, the toxicity of speculation and leverage is total.
Yeah, it's actually deadly, because that's where the bankruptcies start creeping in, and
yes.
अब जैसे बोलते हैं घर बार शर्ट पैंट सब कुछ बेचना पड़ेगा तभी. So be careful at the current juncture is what I would take it as an advice from Raamdeo ji, if I'm getting you correctly, Raamdeo ji.
Yeah.
Invest as much as you think you can bear the losses from, and अपने खुद के पैसे से करिए. If you are going to be borrowing money and then investing, trying to leverage and then invest more and more money into the markets, some point in time when the trends reverse, आपको काफी भारी नुकसान हो सकता है. So which are the big bets, the themes which you are betting on in the current context? Because everything has changed now. The momentum में the large caps वगैरह जो चल रहे थे, and that also 10 or 15 stocks versus now what is changing. So growth versus the value. So are we moving towards the telecom and the metal sector, etc.? Is that the theme change as far as you are concerned? And are you realigning your portfolio based on those theme changes?
Yeah. So one of the things is that we can never catch every move of the market. Impossible.
Right.
Impossible. लेकिन बाजार कैसे चल रहा है वो देख के हमको क्या करना चाहिए वो समझना चाहिए. What changes we should make at our end that must be very calibrated. I mean, if there is a revival in the economy, so are we ready for the upturn in the economy? Broadly.
Correct.
So we have tried to see about 50% of the portfolio is clearly very linked to the revival. You know, whether it is bank, whether it is
So do you
auto
call that
company.
a value theme right now, versus the momentum stocks which were doing well at any valuation जो भी
No,
चल
no,
रही
no.
थी? Is that the way you're looking at the market, sir, right now?
Yeah, so we are trying to position the portfolios, at least 50% of the portfolio explicitly, which is going to disproportionately benefit out of revival.
Okay.
You know, and it could be auto companies, it can be corporate lenders, company, banks, and or infra related, cement, steel. I mean, now the fund manager has to decide where exactly he wants to put money, where is his understanding, where he thinks that there is some juice left in the market. So, but then right now we are trying to say that economy is poised for what do you call resurrection, or growth is going to come back, and
Right.
growth is going to be for 2, 3, 4 years. So let the portfolio be positioned for that. That's how the thinking is. Now, individual stocks, sectors, it all depends on what are the opportunities.
Sure. सर एक जो बोला जाता है कि इंटरेस्ट रेट्स आर एट डेकेडल लोज, आई एम टॉकिंग फ्रॉम द इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट आल्सो, सो उसका बेनिफिट काफी कॉर्पोरेट प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पे हो सकता है ऑन द पॉजिटिव साइड. But my counter question to that, sir, is that if the interest rates are down, but most of the companies are at 50% capacity utilization, उनके पास expansion के लिए अभी scope नहीं है. Why would they expand when they are still managing with at 50%? Your credit growth is only at 6.5%. So ये जो देख के मेरे हिसाब से, this is my personal thinking, that the talk about corporate earnings improving because interest rates having gone down is only on paper. As against that, sir, the commodities, the crude prices, the commodity, the metal, the cement, everything which is steel, which is all going up, is a negative impact for some of the small and the medium sector companies who are the consumers of these commodities. So there may be a reversal on the corporate earnings rather than the revival of the corporate earnings. Am I correct in understanding that, sir?
No, my sense is what I'm getting to hear is that it's a K-shaped recovery where half the companies are recovering and half the companies are either steady or actually going down. So it is the leaders in the businesses, they are doing very well. And there, what is happening is they are not only been able to grow at the cost of their peer sets, they are also cutting the costs. And hence,
Correct.
if you see, margin expansion is staggering for the lot of companies, though it may not be permanent, but for Q3 at least, the margin expansion in some of the companies is staggering. And top line was also surprising for the leader companies. So in index and all, what you get to see is all the leading companies, big companies. But what is happening in the sector is that 5 companies are growing at the cost of 90 companies. The
Correct.
smaller companies, they don't have working capital, they don't have their employees, they don't have the, they have all sorts of problems. So they are not able to come back to pre-COVID level, whereas the big guys with all the resources, they are able to produce much more. And even the customer is wanting a lot more quality now.
Correct.
You know? And he's willing to pay. And so there is a lot of divergence in performance between the small marginal companies and large companies. And that's why if you see the recovery is led by large companies.
So that means we are still betting on the large cap right now versus the mid and the small cap, but the markets on the small and the mid cap have also rallied substantially from March 2020 levels.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you, sir, large caps are becoming larger with the better margins also, better top line also.
Yeah.
That means our concentration in terms of our investment philosophy also should be on the larger cap companies rather than the small and the mid cap.
Sunil, I would not, build a portfolio based on large and small and kind of thing. First thing is SEBI itself has done the job in the sense that
I know
5% has to be large. So उसके ऊपर और ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाने का काम नहीं है. We must stick to the what is the mandate. And there, I think I'm very cap independent thinker about the stocks. Wherever is the opportunity, wherever we see the company has an edge, I would rather go there rather than bothering about. In fact, if I can get a fast grower in mid cap, I would definitely buy. Say if I can get a good lender, good bank, which is mid cap, so I would buy that rather than buying the giant, 8 lakhs, 9 lakh crore kind of market cap, because that 8, 9 lakh crore can go only at the rate of 20%. But the company which is at a bank, which is at 50, 60,000 crores, he can grow at about double, almost 30, 35%, 40%.
Correct.
Because it is young, the base is very small, opportunity size is very large. So, in growth, the difference between 20 and 30 is like a day and night. So in next 5 years, if a company bank grows at 30%, other bank grows at 20%, and both are available at more or less same valuation, I think I'll triple my money compared to the other guy. So that is the kind of, but it has to be very calibrated, because lenders which are small may not be that good.
Correct.
There's so many banks which are listed and they've not done well. Actually, they're struggling. So finding one mid-sized bank which is successful and where you have confidence that management has capability. So you have to be very careful what exactly you're buying. It is not about large cap or mid cap or very small cap. It is
No,
about
my question was basically because you mentioned about some of the bigger companies doing much better because of the resources which they have, the margins improvements, etc., versus the balance 90%, which is not able to capture that opportunity. So that was the reason why I asked you was large cap versus small or mid cap, sir.
But it will catch up as the economy recovers. Even the mid-sized companies, which are second rung in the system, they will catch up big time. So quite possible, the valuation wise, the mid-cap companies might be far more depressed compared to the large cap companies.
Correct.
So in investing, you have to balance the valuation as well as the prospects.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
So now coming back to the US economy, jahan par it's become extremely sensitive to inflation numbers. It's becoming extremely sensitive to the interest rate numbers. So all this, where the asset bubbles are getting created in the US economy, housing bubble is also happening, the cryptocurrency bubble, the equity bubble, so to say.
Yeah.
Do you expect because the inflation going up, crude prices going up, interest rates likely to go up, and Fed may just change their stand from accommodative to a little more hawkish in nature, and there is a talk of 2023 where the Fed may increase interest rates. So that means there might be a reversal of the quantitative easing side also. So all this put together, because finally so far it's the FIIs who have been pumping in money. So what should the emerging markets, especially in the Indian investors, should look for as cues from the US economy, sir? These are the cues which I've just mentioned. Abhi right now, of course, dollar is depreciating because of the fiscal stimulus which is happening. But at some point in time, जब emerging markets से पैसा निकालना शुरू कर देंगे FIIs, what happened in March 2020, that flight to safety or flight to their own dollars, so तभी dollar appreciate करना शुरू कर देगा, which will be very negative for the emerging markets, sir.
Sunil, again, this is important but not knowable. So let's not bother about it.
I agree.
See, the problem is that these are very, very intelligent and important subject. But we can't really have a view on this, in the sense that anybody's view could be right or wrong. So what I'm saying is, I also keep watching all these factors, but it is not changing my decisions. I would look at a company. If I understand the company, I understand the business, I understand the management, I look at the growth opportunity, growth possibility, what he has done in last 5-7 years, in last quarter. And is there something which I know about the company's prospect, which market has not bothered to price it?
Right.
And that's where I start putting my money.
So in this efficient market, or so to say, the global market has become very efficient. Is it possible to identify such companies and then bet your money on it?
Yes.
Or is it becoming more and more difficult to generate alpha?
It is becoming difficult at a portfolio level to the same, but finding an individual stock, which is where you can bring a distinct edge in terms of understanding. That is clearly possible. We keep coming across, we keep doing it in our portfolio. You will see that top 2-3 stocks will have beaten the index hands down, but portfolio might not have done so well because doing the entire 100%. And getting 100% right is tough, but finding the spots where you have an edge is much easier. Our effort is to see that all 100% of my allocation goes to the places where I have an edge. But but later on we find that in 50% places market beats us, and in 50% places we beat the market, and
Correct.
that's how the show keeps going on.
I agree. Sir, the question is, आपने देखा है कि it's only the liquidity which is driving the market, and that's being reflected in the daily FII numbers also. जो रोज FII के numbers जो होते हैं वो positive होते हैं equity purchase में, DII numbers including the mutual fund industries are on the negative side. So there is a net outflow as far as the retail investors are concerned, domestic investors are concerned. So how do you see this scenario panning out? Because एक दिन जब भी and according to me, many investors actually exited in March 2020 and waiting for an opportunity to reinvest again. जो opportunity उनको मिली नहीं because markets have only gone up thereafter.
Yeah.
So they have
So-
missed the rally according to me, and
Yeah.
not many have participated. But having said that, sir, at the current juncture, as and when the FIIs start pulling out, don't you foresee a huge run on the money, and the retail investors, especially in the Indian context, will be the biggest sufferers?
I see there will always be correction. I would always call it correction.
Correct.
Correction of 15-20% वो तो होने वाला है, चाहे गोरे बाहर जा रहे हैं या काले बाहर जा रहे हैं, कुछ अंतर नहीं पड़ता है भाई. यदि गोरे अंदर आ रहे हैं तो काले बाहर भी तो जा रहे हैं ना.
Right.
So, and color the money is same at the end of it. So what I'm saying is it doesn't matter who is buying, who is selling. I have seen the stocks where FIs have sold, the stocks are double. So ऐसा कोई
Right.
जरूरी नहीं है कि मतलब यानी उनके जाने से, I understand what you're saying, that if there is sustained selling by FIs, typically markets will correct. Okay, but if by
Right.
chance today FIs are buying and DIs are selling,
But
tomorrow,
unfortunately, the retail investor has not participated in the rally. That's
Yeah,
what my feeling is. Am I correct in saying that?
Sir, in fact, retail investor has only participated. Only
Okay.
HNIs have not participated.
Okay, so at
All
least the
the-
Indian, one of the
Yeah,
segments
all the
is not-
selling is by HNIs. I mean, I can see who all are sold. In my broking side, because I handle 1.5 million retail customers, they are going
Wow.
gaga. We are adding almost 1 lakh customer every month, and the participation rate is also at highest. So obviously they are making money in, of course, trading and so much, buy today, sell tomorrow types. So clearly they are doing very well. It is the HNIs, the dear friends of mine. They have timed the market and they are timed out actually. They sold in March, they sold and they have been selling continuously. Every day I'm getting redemption, and they are coming from good houses, industrial houses and all. So
Wow.
it is the HNIs who are selling, and they're sitting out waiting for the market to collapse. And if you ask them what is happening to your own business, they are saying their own business is booming.
Wow.
See, the
And
real
they don't have
contrast would have
belief in
been if his business was not doing well, but market was doing well, I could have understood. But his
Correct.
business is also doing very well. So people have timed the market for the sake of timing. And now, since markets are higher than the levels at which they have sold, they don't have courage to get in.
Get
But
in.
you have to bite this bullet. Please come in tomorrow morning itself and be ready for 20% correction immediately after you come in. आप समझ रहे हैं मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
समझ गया सर।
आप जब तक नहीं खरीदो तब तक बाजार गिरेगा नहीं. सॉरी, जब तक बाजार गिरेगा नहीं, और जैसे आप खरीदो बाजार गिरेगा पक्का. So you have to be ready for a immediate 10-15% cut. And
It's a double-edged
जैसे-
sword, sir, for investors. It's a double-edged sword, I'm saying.
जैसे आप हरिद्वार में जाएंगे, आपको चाहे गर्मी में जाओ चाहे सर्दी में जाओ, पानी कैसा रहता है? ठंडा.
ठंडा ही रहता है.
हाँ, ठंडा रहता है. तो अभी क्या है, बाजार ऐसी है, आप आओगे, आपको 5-10% का करेक्शन मिलेगा. टेक दैट ऑन योर साइड एंड स्टार्ट फ्लोइंग.
Again, coming back to that timing the market, sir, I'm just playing the devil's advocate. मैं ये आपको पूछने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ again and again. Is that the current valuation? Let us assume that because finally आपके returns जो मिलती है investments की is based on the valuation at which you have invested today.
Sure.
So Japan में जैसे हमारा 3 decades what we call the lost
खराब हो
decade
गया,
of
हाँ.
Japan. 1 decade, 25 years were lost in US also post 1929. Again, US did not deliver any return from 2000 to 2012. Indian markets 92 to 2002, again 10 years markets delivered zero return post Harshad Mehta scam, all because of the valuation excesses at the time of investment, sir. Do we expect something similar at the current juncture in terms of the time of the investment? Will we see lost decade or lost 5 years or something like that? Because that is a talk which is going around कि आज आप invest करोगे at such expensive valuation, आपके return बहुत ही muted रहेंगे going forward for the next 3 to 5 years.
मुझे ऐसा नहीं लगता। एक तो पहली बात जो है 2020 में थैंक्स टू कोविड जो भी पुराना ये था एक्सेसेस वो पूरा करेक्ट हो गया। सो दिस वाज द फोर्थ राउंड ऑफ माय करेक्शन इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ माय 30 years, 92, 2000, 2007 एंड 2020।
करेक्ट।
2020 में हमारा इंडेक्स जो है फ्रॉम कितना से कुछ 12,500 से 7,500 हुआ ना,
7,500 आ गया था निफ्टी।
तो कितना परसेंट निकल गया? 40-50% निकल गया,
40%।
हाँ, तो उसमें सब जहर निकल गया। मैं बोलता हूँ आपको अभी क्या एकदम से एक भूकंप होने के बाद दूसरा भूकंप नहीं होता है, थोड़ा टाइम लगता है। तो अभी क्या होगा, पहले बिल्डअप होगा, फर्स्ट इट विल राइज। नाउ हाउ मच इट विल राइज ओनली टाइम विल टेल।
राइट।
Now there is all the ingredients are in place. Vaccine has come, money is there, fiscal deficit is there. PM is talking about growth, wealth creation. I mean, ऐसा लगता है कि wealth creation is happening in Delhi, not in Mumbai. FM, PM, सब wealth creation की बात कर रहे हैं.
The financial hub is a little scared, but the political hub is gung-ho on the Indian economy.
हाँ, so क्या है कि अभी माहौल बहुत बढ़िया है. So मेरे ख्याल से पहले wealth creation होगा और फिर दुनिया में जितना बड़ा collapse नहीं होगा उतना बड़ा collapse होगा. ये बोल रही हूँ मैं आपको. See, collapse will happen, but collapse will be preceded by big increase in the index.
Has that already happened is the question?
No. You are at 1 time GDP. Last time in 2008 when it happened, it was 1.75 times GDP. My GDP was 45 lakh crores. My market cap was 73 lakh crores. You can go and check in 2007.
Correct,
Today,
sir.
my GDP is 210 lakh crores and my market cap is also 210. So we have,
Right.
So what I see in next 5 years, my GDP, in next 6 years, GDP at 12% nominal will double in next 6 years. My corporate profit to GDP, hopefully, which is at 2%, will go to 4%. So in next 5 to 6 years, I expect 3 to 4x jump in the corporate profit, aggregate corporate profits.
Right.
That is a potential. Now, whether it happens or not, only time will tell.
So it's like saying, sir, 12% पे जो आप nominal GDP growth आप समझ रहे हैं, so approximately in 7 years is what we are expecting. 72 divided by 6 years, we should be doubling.
Double, yeah, we should be after
So
6 years.
2.8 trillion will become 5.6 trillion in the next 6 years time, and that's when you see the markets also doubling, because पहले जाएगी या बाद में जाएगी वो पता नहीं है, but जब ये GDP का growth double होता है तभी market also doubles.
Yeah.
Is that the correct way of putting it?
That's the expectation, you know. Now it is not going to be in a straight line. There will be corrections in between, and there can be a super bull run and then deep correction. So we don't know how it is going to happen, but I remain optimistic about making anywhere between 10 to 15% compounded from here for next 5 years.
Oh, because we are hearing just the opposite of what you are saying, sir. Because people are saying at this level, if you invest, your return on investments in the equity side will become muted, maybe single-digit figures. But it's heartening to know that आप बोल रहे हैं sir 10 to 15% compounded return from the current levels.
मैं आपको गणित बता दिया.
हाँ जी, समझ गया sir. Exactly. We can't predict the market, but at least we can predict the economy growing versus the markets growing.
Yeah. So I have to find stocks which are growing, which will grow the earnings by at least 20%, and they are available at less than 20-25 P multiple. That's how we construct the portfolio.
Correct.
And hopefully, it should deliver us double in 5 years.
So, what is your view on gold?
Gold, see, there is no inflation in the world. So gold is not an exciting place. If you think that the world is going to be a very inflationary place in the years to come, because right now there is no excess demand. Right now, as we are talking, there is a demand deficit, and that's why people are stimulating.
Correct.
That's why they are sending the free helicopter money and all. So there is a lack of demand for everything. So there is no inflation, and hence the gold prices are going to remain here only, in the sense that 1700, 1800, 90. But as the inflationary buildup starts happening, maybe gold will.
But with this kind of liquidity, don't you expect some inflationary buildup will happen sooner than later?
Sunil, this entire economics, what we have been taught in school, everything is gone for haywire.
Gone for a toss.
Completely gone for a toss. समझ में नहीं आता. एक तो ऐसे हमको इकोनॉमिक्स समझ में आता था, That was the one subject where I used to get 40 out of 100. And उसके उसके ऊपर से मतलब ये तो क्या है कि जो अभी का जो थ्योरी चल रहा है वो कुछ अलग ही है. So I mean, how much money they have printed in last 10 years, and yet there is no inflation. Forget about COVID time, but before that also.
Yes.
They're
From
complete.
2008-9, sir, they've been printing money.
From Greenspan to Bernanke to Yellen, everybody is just printing.
All of them have done that.
3 printing press, Japan, Europe and America, all 3 are day and night, they're just printing, and yet there is no inflation. So I don't know what kind of productivity gains we are in, and you can catch up with somebody else, some professional economist from some international agency, and figure out what's really happening. But मेरे को दिमाग में नहीं बैठता है भी क्या हो रहा है. मेरे को इतना मालूम है, यदि मान लो आपका yield 10 year पेपर के ऊपर लो है, interest rates are lower, and so my P multiple can, my index can sustain a much higher P multiple.
Right.
That much I know.
Sir, your thoughts on Bitcoin. Let me explain to you, or let me rephrase this question. I don't know whether you've seen that talk of Ruchir Sharma, where he has spoken about the changing trends in the next decade. उसमें एक changing trends में उसने बोला था, because the Portuguese currency was the currency for the world for 100 years. Thereafter, I think the pound became the currency for 94 years or something like that. And now currently we are talking about dollar as the currency. So that's also completed that 100-year mark. So average currency is about 94 years, which it lasts. So he had spoken about the dollar getting replaced, and maybe something like Bitcoin can become the currency for the world. Your thoughts on that? How far it, because Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, वगैरह सब जो बोलते हैं वो तो they are rubbishing Bitcoin as an investment avenue altogether. It's a speculative bubble according to them. And youngsters who are watching our show just now are all keen to know your thoughts on Bitcoin, sir.
Yeah. So the two things. One is Bitcoin as a concept, as a store of value. It could be right. I mean, I am not an authority on that. But Bitcoin as a concept, like a gold or a silver or platinum or some store of value, some metal or something. It could be some digital commodity or something somehow generated. So it can have value, it can have a scarcity, it can have excess. So it can keep trading 4,000, 5,000, 50,000, whatever. So I don't have any fight with that concept. But when you say Bitcoin is a mode of payment as a currency, then I have a problem. You
Correct.
cannot have, I mean, when you order the coffee, it was 40,000 Bitcoin, and when the guy delivered the coffee, it was 50,000. How can the whole world will come to chaotic place? So obviously it cannot be used as a currency. So,
Correct.
but there could be advent of digital currency, where first it was gold-backed currency, then it came the fiat currency, what we know right now.
Right.
So now you could have no physical currency, you can have a digital currency. And I think today, what we are talking is digital currency in any case. I mean, when I say I have earned 100 crores for my portfolio today, I don't think anybody has come and given me 100 crores. It's just an accounting entry. It's already digital. So, I mean, digital currency will be a lot more sophisticated. I mean, that concept is being floated everywhere. China, America, India, everybody will come out with digital currency. So clearly the next format of the currency will be digital currency, where things will move very rapidly. And the very concept of black money will, I think, go away. Because if there is no physical currency, everything has to be digital. It has to be accounted for, and reconciliation of the entire, whatever, 5 lakh crores or 10 lakh crores in circulation can be accounted for any given moment. So I see digital currency coming into vogue going forward and replacing completely the physical currency right now, what is in circulation, as the adoption of the e-payment and other things happen. But Bitcoin, I mean, let's not mix up the Bitcoin as a currency. Bitcoin as a concept could be anything. I mean, that can be a store of value, I would say.
It can be one of the investment avenues, but it need not, according to you, it will not replace the dollar as a world currency.
Yeah.
So this year, I'm sure you were not able to attend the AGM of Warren Buffett, but it must be digitally done. Your thoughts on what he has said in his AGM?
Yeah, so
I was fortunate to come for one of the AGMs with you, sir.
Yeah, it is so much of fun going there and
Yes.
interacting with a lot of other people, in the conference.
I remember,
And
sir.
literally, the whole world is there.
Yes.
So, I mean, the authors whom you think, we are yet to see. I mean, they could be sitting in your coffee table and having coffee with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, I think, see, if you see, he's written only 14 pages. His size of writing has become much smaller. And his stock discussions have been far more, this thing. And this time he's talked about, his own performance and I think power of repurchasing of the stock in Apple, how it has, I mean, one of his last biggest bet has been Apple.
Apple.
And there he has made 3-4 times of what he has put money and still going very strong. So he has written the power of what has made Apple as an investment, So there he's talked about power of buyback of the stocks, how buyback has helped him increase the holdings and yet make a lot of money. So that he has talked about. Second, I think, and this power of buyback is very relevant in India because a lot of our corporates, they have huge amount of treasuries. They don't pay out by way of dividend and they're sitting on 30, 40, 50,000 crores of treasury. So I think they should very meaningfully read and enhance the value of the stock
Investors.
by buying back,
Correct.
by using those hoards as a buyback. So that's one thing which is coming out very clearly. Second is that his own ownership. I mean, there are 5 types of owners in a Berkshire Hathaway. So where one is of course the owner himself. Then second is the ETF guys. Who don't know what they're owning, but they have to own because it is part of the ETF. Then third is the corporate and the very large active fund managers, they own the stock. And then fourth is the guys who are speculator types. And fifth is the long-term partner types. The guys who are there for 30, 40, 50 years with the companies. So he was praising all those long-term shareholders who are more like partners. So he has this time tried to give all sorts of shareholders in a company. And he was saying that we welcome the guys who are partners in the progress of the company. And there's those who have reaped some crazy amount of return. I mean, the guys who first bought the Berkshire Hathaway in 1969 or something. And today, I think $1,000 has become few $1 million. So, I mean, the guy who has bought it, one gentleman he's mentioned, is about 104 years old, older than him. And he's still holding on to that. So what he says about it. So, I mean, I think it's a very lightly written note this time. I think the real thing will be interview of the current state of the market and what all is going on in his mind. That very quick, I think there was supposed to be, she interviews him for 2 hours immediately after the letter is released. So that has not happened, I think. Maybe today or tomorrow it must be there. And then, of course, on the day of AGM. So let's wait for that 2 hours interview. But most importantly, on the day of AGM this time, let's see what kind of mood he's in. And he's buying back a very large quantity. He's buying back in Berkshire itself. So I think those were a few things. I didn't find anything, very.
So is he buying back because he's one of those investors who has held cash? उसने काफी $100 billion plus kitty उन्होंने कभी invest नहीं करी है. At least since I remember 2017-18 when we went, तब से लेके आज तक I think he's still holding on to cash, saying that मेरे को कोई value अच्छी नहीं दिख रही है, इसीलिए मैं पकड़ के बैठा हूँ. Just the opposite of the philosophy of what you are saying, sir. So how would you weigh that?
It's a quite a crazy thing. When I'm saying don't time the market, actually a lot of it is the conviction came from him. Let me tell you. But in 87 I opened Motilal Oswal. Since then I have not seen a single rupee in my pocket. I only seen stuff of stocks. I buy on the day. If I earn a brokerage of 20,000 rupees today, I'll buy 20,000 rupees worth of stock only. वरन में खाली मेरे पास shares आते थे.
हाँ वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ सर. तो if you are following Warren Buffett and you say that he is your guru, तो सर ये कहाँ disconnect हो रहा है सर?
नहीं वही तो इसमें क्या है कि in fact I am a much more voracious stock investor than probably him, because he is sitting on 30-40% of cash. I don't have even a penny of cash. So to that extent, but maybe at his age or maybe his wisdom, where he is thinking that thing will collapse, and it did collapse. See, his call was right that in 2020 market did collapse because for the health reasons, not for the business cycle. It did collapse, but Powell turned out to be smarter than him. Before he could deploy his money, Powell gave tons of money to
into the system.
So he didn't get that call. Now I think he's going to spend. I'm quite sure he knows now that next time it collapses, Powell is going to be one day earlier. Before the collapse only, he's going to open the treasury. So what is the use of cash?
Correct.
So my sense is he's going to be far more aggressive in deploying his extra cash. And because he is not deployed, my limited understanding is he's suffered a lot, which he doesn't care. In the sense that he's making $20 to $25 billion of operating profit, and another $20 billion of mark-to-market profits. So his actual run rate is upwards of $35-40 billion per annum, which is a lot of money.
And treasury, I'm sure he must be making very minuscule on that 30-40%.
Nothing.
There return hai nahi sir debt markets mein, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I think that's where he's suffering. His own float of 138 billion is earning nothing, because if you have a float, the cost of float is zero. So, but I can go and he can go and borrow at 1%. In any case, a lot of money. So इतना मेहनत करके float खड़ा करके फायदा क्या हुआ फिर? So
the fear of missing out जो है sir of investors at the current juncture, what is your advice to them? What should they be doing? Should they be going in all in at the current juncture, or should they be still waiting for some kind of a correction? कोई strategy बनाए?
Correction don't time the market. I'm telling you again, for entering, don't time the market. The way you have exited with a lot of the way you have exited with a lot of thinking. See, you had a call in the market. Now your call is wrong. So accept that you are wrong in the call, and it doesn't matter. ठीक है यार, 9,000 से 12,000 13,000 नहीं बनाएंगे. वो तो it's a gap in the portfolio.
Right.
See, what is gone. But not making money, I mean, not exploiting 15,000 to 30,000. That will be really sad.
Correct.
और 25-20 साल में फिर दौड़ के आओगे बोलोगे मेरे को भी खरीदने का है. That will be like really terrifying.
Yeah. That is where the fear of missing out comes in, and then that's where the most of the investors tend to lose out, unfortunately.
And I mean, good thing is I don't try to do that, so that I'm never missing out. I mean, I also feel bad when
as I have told you in the beginning, there's only one Raamdeo Agrawal in the country who has the stomach to take these ups and downs. But the unfortunate part about the emotions, all of us know from times immemorial, the greed and fear के जो है वो कंटिन्यू रहेगा सर. हम कुछ भी बोले
रहेगा, उसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है. बट मेरा क्या कहने का है कि भाई आप कम से कम बाजार से बाहर मत बैठो, इतना लंबा मत बैठो बाहर. यदि जिस दिन मालूम पड़ेगा कि हम गलत हो गए, उस दिन.
So what I have been advocating, sir, is that when the markets are expensive, be in a conservative asset class, but be in equity as an asset class, like dynamic equity fund जो आपका है, which will be sitting on maybe 30 or 40% in equity, but at least be in equity as an asset class. Don't get out of the market and get into debt. फिर उसके बाद एंट्री करना बहुत मुश्किल होएगा, because markets करेक्ट करेगी तो आपके डायनेमिक इक्विटी जो है it will continue to buy at lower and lower valuation. So your parting thoughts, sir?
I think two things. One is don't time the market. Again, I'll say, which nobody's going to listen. They're going to time the market. Okay, so but still, I'll tell you, don't time the market. Second, learn the power of compounding. जो आपने बात की है ना, rule of 72.
Correct.
I'm telling you, very few understand, fewest of the few, they practice it.
Right.
I mean, actually thinking कि 3 साल में 25% से डबल होता है, 5 साल में 3 गुना होता है, 10 साल में 10 गुना होता है. मैं लोगों को बोलता हूँ 20 साल में क्या होगा?
My God.
आप बताएं कितना होगा 20 साल में?
I really can't. At 10%, sir?
No, at 25%. 1 rupee becomes 10 rupees in 10 years.
Okay.
In 20 years कितना हो जाएगा?
So it goes into say if your one rupee becomes 10 lakh rupees by the end of 20 days, in 30th year it becomes 107 crores, sir.
No. You're not getting it. What I'm saying is, if you compound it 25%, rule of 72 means 72 divided by 25. 3 साल में डबल होता है. तो 1 रुपया आपका 3 साल में डबल हो जाएगा.
Right.
है ना? तो ऐसे 10 साल में 10 गुना हो जाएगा.
Correct.
तो 20 साल में कितना होगा?
I mean, I can't guess, sir.
Yeah, no, it is commonsensical. That's what I'm saying. If 10 साल में 10 गुना होता है तो 20 साल में 100 गुना.
Right.
10 into 10.
Okay.
In
Perfect.
30 years कितना हो जाएगा?
Oh my God. You're right, sir.
So in 20 years, it will become 1,000 times. 10 into 10 into 10.
Right.
In 40 years, it will become 10,000 times. In 50 years, 1 lakh times. So the
Right.
बच्चा जो 20 साल का है अभी, वो 70 साल की उम्र में he has a good chance of making 10 to 20,000 times of his money.
Wow. For that, the markets have to deliver on an ongoing basis, but you have to stay in the market and stay disciplined.
Yes. So power of compounding जो है सीखना चाहिए लोगों को. एक बहुत सिंपल चीज है. आप उनको समझाएं सबको क्या हो सकता है पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग में, particularly for the young investors who are coming into the market in lakhs by the day. They should understand power of compounding, so they should not do crazy things and make really true use of the markets.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
रामदेव जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर स्पेयरिंग योर टाइम. बहुत ही मजा आया आपके साथ बात करने का. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू प्ले द डेविल्स एडवोकेट इन द करंट मार्केट यूफोरिया. इसीलिए मैंने आपसे जो भी क्वेश्चंस पूछे, आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस सो दैट वी कैन मेक द इन्वेस्टर्स अवेयर, सर.
की बात है. Yeah.
And make them a little cautious in terms of not going overboard. At the same time, as you rightly said, जब भी पैसा है, without borrowing money, if you're not leveraging money, और उसके बाद जो आप पैसा खुद का लगा रहे हैं, 50% भी डाउन होएगा तो market will give you an opportunity to bringing it back again. Thank you so much, रामदेव जी.
Thank you.
Dharam and Swami, would you like to say a few words?
Swami.
Yeah, Swami.
Thank you, Sunil sir, and thank you, Raamdeo ji. It's been our pleasure to have you here. पाठशाला में every week, our MFD friends, financial advisors यहाँ पे आते हैं. और लाइफ टाइम स्टूडेंट का एक कॉन्सेप्ट में हम लोग बैठते हैं और सीखने के लिए आते हैं. और हमेशा हम अलग अलग एवरी वीक आके अलग अलग रूल से बहुत सारे चीजें सीखते हैं. तो ये हमारा आज इट इज आवर ग्रेट प्लेजर कि दैट टुडे आज आपसे सीखने को मिला. एंड इसमें हमने ये भी किया कि सिर्फ खाली हमारे फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर्स नहीं, एमएफडीज नहीं, इस बार हमने ये भी किया कि जो हमारे इन्वेस्टर्स है, क्योंकि इन्वेस्टर हमारे एमएफडी फ्रेंड्स को और एडवाइजर्स को पूछते रहते हैं कि अभी क्या करना चाहिए. मेरा जो पैसे इन्वेस्टेड रहूं या फिर निकल जाओ, या फिर मैं नया पैसा इन्वेस्ट करना है, अभी इक्विटी में डालू किधर डालू, ये हमेशा उनका कंफ्यूजन रहता है. तो आपने बहुत सारे चीजों को आपने हमारे इन्वेस्टर्स की, हमारे एमएफडी फ्रेंड्स के लिए आपने एड्रेस किया. आज लिटरली आपने पूरा वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी एंड पूरा आपने बोला 1917 में शुरू किया. इट्स बीन मोर देन रफली 52 इयर्स नाउ. और सेंसेक्स इज एट 52,000. मैं तो खाली एक ही रेट करता हूँ तो साल में 1,000 तो बढ़ के आया हुआ है. तो आप यू स्टे इन्वेस्टेड, सो 52,000 हो चुका है. सो आपने आपने एक अच्छा हुआ कि द समरी इफ आई सी दैट फ्रॉम योर स्पीच इज स्टे इन्वेस्टेड. उतना पैसा इन्वेस्ट करो, और अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करके एक्सपेक्ट करो कि दूसरा आपको एक महीने के अंदर 20 से 25% करेक्शन होगा, और वो आपको डाइजेस्ट करने को होना चाहिए. और उतना ही पैसा डालो जितना, अगर 50-60% ऑल्सो इफ यू लूज, यू शुड बी एबल टू टॉलरेट दैट. सो आपने ये बहुत अच्छी तरह से लोगों को सिंपल, और आपने खुद बोला कि इकोनॉमी जो हो रहा है उनको समझ में नहीं आता है, लेकिन आपने एक सिंपल तरीके से जो इकोनॉमी का हमको पूरा सिखाया हुआ है. आज ये बहुत सारा आपने हमको नॉलेज दिया. सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर वंडरफुल सेशन, फॉर योर insights. And also Sunil ji, thank you so much for doing this devil's advocate. आपने तो रामदेव को घुमा फिरा के वापस वही क्वेश्चन पे आ रहे थे.
Bring him back to the same point, but he did not budge. His views are always, I know, उनका तो instructions है to his accountant, अकाउंट में पैसा नहीं होना चाहिए, जो आता है उसको सीधा इमीडिएटली इन्वेस्ट करो. बट एज आई सेड, इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर आम आदमी जो रिटेल इन्वेस्टर होता है. HNI, जैसे उन्होंने बोला, HNI are out of the market currently and waiting for an opportunity. So, but please learn from all the experts is what we are trying to do in this Pathshala and Maha Pathshala today. And thank you all the mutual fund distributors to invite your investors. I hope this would have helped you to guide your investors on a better path.
Yes. So thank you all. Thank you our MFD friends. Thank you all Pathshala members. Thank you all the first time who are attending our Pathshala session. Investors, individuals, everyone. So thank you so much. It was our pleasure to have you here on this session, and hope we added value to your knowledge, and hope you have become a better version of yourself. That's our team. So every time when you come, when you are going, you should go with at least one or two new knowledge. And today I learned one new thing. That's first time I learned new concept. We have learned about W concept, V concept recovery, U concept recovery. So today we learned K concept recovery, K-shape. So that's beautiful. So that's one thing I take from here. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Anything else that you want to say?
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Tomorrow we do not have Pathshala, so we'll be having our next Pathshala on next Thursday. I think you can end.